I come on here oftentimes and, my beard will be scraggly. You see my smoke stained, coffee stained teeth. You might see a booger or a hair hanging out of my nose. You might see my face not well groomed. You might see my shirt a little spotted up and stuff. And I don't care one bit because this is not my focus. I'm not on here for people to admire my looks. I'm not on here for people to compliment my fashion sense. I'm not on here for ladies to be like, oh, he's so handsome. I'm not on here for any of those reasons. The reason I'm on here is because there's a message that has to go out. There's a message that's been put inside of me, and I don't feel right if I sit on that message and not put it out. And so I'll get on here and you'll just see the bare minimum. I'm not going to put a lot into bells and whistles and backgrounds and all of these things that catches the eye and gets people's attention, because I don't want everybody's attention. I don't require everybody's attention. The people whose attention I get is the people who Yahweh wanted my message to go to. And so that's why I have no problem with the number of people who tune into my channel, or the number of people who comment, or what they even say, and the feedback that I get. I appreciate all of it. I interact a lot, and I just basically engage with people on a regular basis, because I always say that I'm solution oriented, and any topic that I bring up, I'm looking for a solution. So all of the fluff don't matter. I'm trying to get to an answer. I'm trying to get to a solution. And so how people feel don't matter. What I look like don't matter. And any of those other things that we tend to put all of our focus and attention on, that's not really going to be beneficial to us in our life. And so I call this the sin of caring. We care so much about what other people think. We care so much about who this is going to offend that we will literally go against the mandates that's been set for us in our life, and we will go against our purpose, because sometimes our purpose is going to offend somebody. Sometimes our purpose is going to make people uncomfortable. Sometimes our purpose is going to challenge somebody, not only their beliefs, but their way of doing things as a whole. And so we get so caught up in caring, especially in the times that we live in right now, where everything is about offending someone else and being canceled for an offense and things like that. It's become almost second nature to second guess yourself on anything that comes out of your mouth. I see so many people when they be on these sites and they be talking and stuff, they scrambling for words to replace what they really want to say, because they know if they say certain things, then they may not get picked up in the algorithm. They know that if there's certain words that are said, they may get a strike, or they may get a demonetization of their page for saying certain things and carrying certain messages. And so these things are holding them at bay, and they're not able to go forth and fulfill what they really are supposed to be doing, because they're so caught up in caring about what other people think. Man, I feel so good to get up and really genuinely, truly not care what other people think. The things that I do are not governed by what other people think. Now, that is not to say that I don't do things considering other people. I have to. I have a family. I'm a father. I'm a brother. I'm a husband. I'm all of these different things. So I have to consider other people in the decisions that I make and things like that. But ultimately, what it comes down to is what has to be done. And if what I have to do is going to cause you discomfort and hurt your feelings potentially, well, guess what's going to be more important? My purpose. what has to go forth, what has to be spoken to you. That's what's more important. So I'm not concerned with all of those other things like people, like everybody else, try to make you feel like you should be. All right. I'm not concerned about titles. I'm not concerned about credentials. I'm not concerned about any of the things that people hold valuable and hold dear as far as gaining information or being able to trust the information coming from somebody. Because let's be honest, if a person don't really have a title in front of their name, or they don't have some type of credential or some type of acronym in front of their name, then you're not going to really take much weight and accountability into what they say. You're not going to take into account what they're saying. I just got tongue tied right there. And so, this lets me know that we care about the wrong things, and we've erred in so many different ways, and we've made so many mistakes because of the way that we regard the information that we get and the vessel that we get it from. If somebody dress up in a nice suit and a nice shoes, and they've got the nice grooming, and they come in and they say something to you. If I come in my old t-shirt and my old raggedy pants, and I say the same thing to you, you're going to be more likely to receive it from the other person. Why? Because of their appearance, because of the presentation. But people who are led by the Spirit are not going to be misled by those outside things, those outwardly things that get our attention and distract us oftentimes, and these things that we buy into as credibility for a person to speak to. So if somebody come up to me, there was a scenario where this guy said, rich people have the most fake stuff, as in like the Michael Kors bag. If a woman's, if her net worth is a couple of $1 billion, if she stepped outside with a fake Michael Kors bag, would you question it? Probably not, because you see her getting out of this $500,000 car. You see her with at least $2 million worth of jewelry on. So if her bag is fake, you absolutely wouldn't question it based on everything that you see around her. And vice versa with males and so forth and so on. But this is the attitude that we carry with everything, with things that are vital to our life, with things that are important to our quality of life. We carry that same mindset, and that's been a deadly mistake that we've made time and time again. We've always looked at the outward appearance of things, and we've judged the value of the content inside based on the outward appearance and the vessel that is being carried in. And the vessel is just that, it's a vessel. I'm more concerned about the content inside the vessel. It doesn't make no difference to me whether I get my Coca-Cola in a can or in a cup or in a bottle. It's still the Coca-Cola that I am looking for. But everybody is so concerned about having a can or a 20-ounce bottle or a glass with ice in it for their Coke. They've gotten off the topic of the Coke all in itself. This is what I'm talking about, man. And we do this all the time with each other. And I've learned some of the most important things in my life from people who wouldn't be regarded in any of the social circles that we hold in high regard. But they've given me information that probably saved my life on more than one occasion. I'm very sure of that. So this sin of caring is something that is going to hinder you in your walk. Now, it's not to say that you're not supposed to care about anything, but when you put more on the opinion of people than you do on your mandate from Yahweh, you're lost. Now you're in a state of confusion. Now you're going to have those hard situations and issues come up, because now you're not relying on the Most High. You're not relying on Him to supply you with all of the words to say in those moments. You're not relying on Him to give you the wisdom to be able to talk through and to challenge people, and not only to challenge people, but to get a breakthrough. And sometimes you're not going to be there to see the breakthrough. Sometimes you may just see all resistance, but that should not stop you from going forth and saying and doing what you've been mandated to say and do. Sometimes you're not going to see the change. Sometimes you're not going to see God dealing with that person. Sometimes you're not going to see the successful outcome of some people. But you got to still be willing to do the work, knowing that that possible outcome is there. And you got to do it with the energy, knowing that that possible outcome is there. But when we start saying things like, man, they don't want to know nothing. Man, they want to stay ignorant. They ain't trying to learn nothing. They ain't trying to have no relationship with God. Now we're taking the decision into our hands because we don't want those confrontations. We don't want that pushback. We don't want to be challenged ourselves. So now we worried about the wrong things. I was talking this morning about how David did a census on the people in Israel and God got angry with him. Why did God get angry with him? Because he started relying on the strength of the people and not on the strength of God that got him to the point that he was at that point. He was king of Israel. God had took him from a little shepherd boy and put him over an entire nation of people, and he still doubted God. You know, when you start to look at the numbers and stop looking at God, you're out of line, you're out of position. When you start looking at the problem and stop looking at Yahweh, you out of line, you out of position. And this is what we do constantly. This is why we're always second guessing ourselves. This is why we have politically correct. That whole term came because people wanted to care about what's being said, and they put more on hurting somebody's feelings than actually giving them the message that they need to possibly move forth in their life. Inspiration comes in so many different forms. I've had people to offend me to a point to where I changed. And it wasn't because of what they said, but what they said sparked something in me. What they said planted a seed within me that led me down a path that eventually brought me to a benefit in my life, something that I was able to correct in my life. But had they not had the courage to challenge me and didn't worry about offending me, I probably would have never gained that level of knowledge and understanding that I gained from that interaction with that person. And so I'm saying to us today, when you have a conversation with me and I say something that goes against whatever you believe, whatever you was raised to believe, your culture and things like that, it's not being said in malice. It's being said to gain an understanding, because I don't want to be ignorant of anything that I talk about. I want to have an understanding of things so that I don't mischaracterize things like things have been mischaracterized with me. Okay? If you want an understanding of something, you ask questions. If you want a clear understanding of something, you continue to ask questions until you're clear on it. That's how it goes. That's how we learn. And so people are being offended now because you're trying to gain clarity in something. They don't want you to have clarity. They want you to accept their surface level answer, and that's supposed to be enough for you. That may be okay for some people, but some people need more clarity. And so that's why you have to have sources for your information. You have to have resources readily available to direct people to those things so that they can get an understanding that in an area that can explain it a lot better than you. Because I'm good at, talking sometimes, but there's some things that I am just not equipped to explain. It's not my area. That's not my lane. And so while I'll touch on some things, I will let it be known that I don't know everything about this. I'm not a subject matter expert in this, but I have done some research, and based on these sources, then this is where I came to form this opinion. And I'll lead people to those sources because I understand that once I do that, You have to argue with the source. You can't make me the source anymore. I no longer become the source of this information. I'm taking you to the original, and now your gripe and your problem is with the original source. So I make a point to do this because, you know, it's going to give them whatever they're looking for, and either they're going to accept it or they're going to reject it. But at that point, my job is done. I've done my job, and however they feel about it, that's just how they're going to feel about it. But I'm not going to allow somebody's possible response to what I have to say to them to stop me or detour me from saying it. Because if you're going to become a better person and something beneficial is going to come out of this, then so be it. In that moment, then you just going to have hurt feelings, man. So let's get out of the sin of caring. Yeah. Caring can be a downfall for you. We don't ever speak about it in that context, but we have to, because it's definitely being widely practiced in that context. And we no longer have the what's the word I'm looking for? We don't have the luxury of doing that anymore. We really don't. We don't have the luxury to sit around and care about what people think and let that stop us from seeing what is right and doing what is right. You know, our government right now is in an entire upheaval because of this very thing. People were afraid to say what was right. People were afraid to stand up for what was right because they cared about their political career. They cared about what other people in their party thought of them. They cared about what other people who were giving them donations and support thought of them. And that dictated what they would say, how they would act. And this is the tone of the United States right now. And so everybody's being fake. Everybody's being false. Everybody is hiding the true meaning of what they want to express, and they're sugarcoating everything, and it has not benefited us at all. You look at our society right now, and you look at how many people out here are disillusioned, and they live in their own fabricated fantasy world. It's very evident that people will create their own false reality just so they don't have to face the true reality of this world, and that they can be comfortable in doing this, just everything. It's very evident. But we don't want to talk about these things. We don't want to say these things because they hurt people's feelings. Now, this is off topic, but it's on topic. I was talking this morning, and I saw a post, and it was like, one of these people need to go. You know how they have those posts, and they'll have like 4 different artists, and you choose which one out of the 4. If you had to choose to go, and all right. So they had Sade, they had who else? Beyonce, Erykah Badu, and somebody else. And I was like, why are we out here acting like Erykah Badu is not a whole witch? She is evidently practicing witchcraft. She's in some type of alternative lifestyle, and she is a witch by all rights and accounts. Nobody wants to verbally say it, but it is there. It's evident. And it's just like R. Kelly. Nobody wanted to say for all of them years what R. Kelly was doing because they loved his music so much. And they were just in awe of his talent that they turned a blind eye to what that man was out here doing. And this is the same exact thing with Erykah Badu. There's certain people in the Black community that we will guard with our lives because we appreciate their level of talent, and this contributing to the death of us as a community. And we'll turn around and we'll talk about how we need to uplift the community and build up our community with the music of a witch playing in the background. So we've got witchcraft and sorcery all in the background of this big battle that we're facing. And then we wonder why we have so much confusion and why we have so much dissension within our ranks, and why we have so many different problems trying to move forward and get our movement going. Well, it's because we've got a whore in the camp. And I'm not calling Erykah Badu a whore. Don't take my words out of context. That's not what I'm saying. When I say that, I'm referring to something that took place in the Bible. Israel went out to fight against somebody, and they were defeated. Now, up to this point, they was like 12-0. They go into a spot, they got God behind them, they got the angels and all of that, and they go in and they wipe things out. Boom, bam, 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 and it's over. And they come out pretty much unscathed. So this time, they go forth to fight, and they get whooped. I mean, they get whooped like a mama catch the son in there touching one of the little cousins type whooped. And so they come back and they all confused and they like, God, why did this happen? Oh, there's some sin in the camp. That's the reason why you got whooped, because there's some sin in the camp, something that hasn't been addressed, something that's been going on under our noses that we haven't paid no attention to or we haven't dealt with. And this is what's causing the whooping. This is what's causing you to go out there and get whooped today. And so you have to go back to the camp and you have to find where this sin is and you have to address it and deal with it, get rid of it, and then we'll be right back in right standing with each other. And so that's what took place. And they went out, they did what they had to do, addressed the situation, and got back to business. Well, see, that's where we are. We got so much sin in the camp right now. There's so much sin in our camp right now. And we out here trying to fight these wars and these battles, and we getting whooped. And we're wondering why we getting whooped, because it's a whore in the camp that we haven't dealt with. It's some sin in the camp that we turning a blind eye to and acting like it ain't there. And so when we go forth with the movement and we've got this sin in our background, we've got this thing that's hindering our full potential and our full power. And it's not just, I'm not just blaming that on Erykah Badu being a witch. There's so many different sins in our camp. There's so many different whores in our camp. Drill music is a whore in our camp. Gang violence is a whore in our camp. The disparity between black men and women is a whore in our camp. The disparity between men and women, period, is a whore in our camp. The trust issues between us as black people is a whore in our camp. We have so many whores in our camp, but we're still trying to go out and fight like ain't nothing being done. We will not address these things and get rid of these things in our movement so that we can actually move forward. Because we care what people think. We're so worried about offending people. We care so much. We need these constituents. If we don't have them supporting, then we're not going to be, as if God is not a supplier of all things. Those people are not the supplier of all things. Good morning. How you doing, Cynthia? Blessed to see you this morning. Man, and yeah, God is our supplier of all things. And so that was David's sin, putting his faith in the people, not in Yahweh, putting his faith in the numbers. And man, I just feel like we need to stop caring about the wrong things. We are putting too much emphasis on the wrong things. I really want to open up. Let me see how I get this live chat. All messages are available. Okay. Cool. All right, I got this live chat thing on, so bam. But yeah, Cynthia, I thank you for coming in this morning. You got anything to say on what I've been talking about? Because I've come to a place in my life where I just don't care about certain stuff no more. Certain stuff is not important to me, and my focus is on the message that's going forth. And just like the other day, I did a message about Carolyn Bryant Dunham, and that's the lady who told a lie on Emmett Till and got him killed. And the point that I came from, it wasn't a popular point, and I got a whole lot of pushback from that. But it had to be said because a lot of people were saying from a standpoint as if we live in a perfect world, and it was like, yeah, they should issue the warrant and they should take her to trial and they should lock her up. Yeah, they should. But let's look at where we live. In all honesty, in the country that we live in, the United States of America, and what we've seen out of this country, do you really think that justice going to be served in that situation? And where is that going to put the family as far as closure whenever that woman is acquitted, just like her husband and his brother was all those years ago? And, people were mad at me. I got messages like, shut up. And, nobody wanted to face what I was saying to them. And nobody wanted to address that. They would rather tell me to shut up and stop talking about it instead of really acknowledging that this seriously can take place, because more than likely, this lady is not going to be brought to justice. And I just want people to brace themselves for that harsh fact, being that we live in the country that we live in. But because it wasn't popular and it didn't go along with everybody else's feeling, and it wasn't a kumbaya thing, and I was challenging the motive, I got demonized for it. But I don't care. That wasn't important. The conversation was had. Now it opened up people to really, really think about this on more of a logic and fact-based level than just an emotional level. So the goal was met. What I had to do, what my mandate to do in that was done, because it opened up the conversation and it got people to think outside of their box, outside of their emotions and stuff. And that's all I be trying to do. I want people to think outside of the box. I want you to consider another idea other than just one, and not be one-dimensional, because there's so many variations that a thing can go into that, just looking at one option and not considering anything else is not giving yourself the full maximum amount of information that you can have to make a informed decision on something. And I always want you to have the most information available before making your decision so you can make the best decision possible. But when we leave stuff out intentionally, and when we start to backtrack on what we're saying because we think it might hurt somebody's feelings, we're taking away that ability for them to make an informed decision based off of all of the information. So what type of end result are we going to get when we do things like that? Well, we're looking at it right now. You see the background. The flag is upside down. We are in a state of distress in the United States. That's what that does. This is the end result of what I'm talking about. And so we have to get back to these hard conversations, and we have to quit sugarcoating everything, and we have to check these people who we know are lying in real time, not later on down the line. Look at all of this stuff that they're having to unpack with Donald Trump right now. He's told so many lies that were not checked in real time. And matter of fact, he's the first president that they had to put up a lie checker, a fact-checking system to follow what he said and determine what's a lie and what has some truth in. But we've gotten so comfortable believing lies so that we can feel comfortable, that we've done ourselves a great disservice as a nation and just as humanity, period. So let's get back to telling people what they need to hear and not what they want to hear. Okay? I'm not here to make you feel good all the time. Sometimes I may come up with something, may say something that is meant to encourage and it's meant to inspire. But then sometimes I have to say something that is meant to destroy a mindset and it's meant to tear down a evil spirit or an evil narrative that's being brought forth for destruction of not only Black people, but humanity as a whole. And so I have to be willing to take both sides of that, the good and the bad, the pretty and the ugly. But I'm willing to do that because I don't care. And when I say I don't care, I really don't care. If it has to be said, I'm going to say it then and there. And, it is what it is. Let the chips fall where they do. Once it comes out of my mouth and goes forth into the universe, it is yours to do with what you choose. At that point, it's off me. It ain't my business no more. And whatever you choose to do with that information, then, more power to you. But I'm not concerned about anything after what I've been mandated to do. So I just want to get on here, man, and encourage people to don't be afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to speak with boldness. And don't be afraid to challenge things, no matter who the person is, no matter what type of title they wear, no matter what type of label they are under. Do not be afraid to challenge anybody's thoughts. Do not be afraid to question anything that does not make sense to you that you feel you need more clarity on. We can't continue to walk around being confused about something and not having any confidence in doing it because we're scared to let people know that we do not have clarity on this and we're confused about this because we don't want to be seen as dumb or slow. This is the thing that has caused our children to have all of the confidence issues that they have. They've seen us struggle with second guessing ourselves for so long, and we do not put any emphasis on building our children up in confidence that they would be confident in themselves and not second guess themselves. Now they're out here and they have these low self-esteem issues and they have these problems to where they're gravitating to whatever they see as a symbol of power and a symbol of strength out here in the world because we never gave it to them. We never gave our children that confidence to believe in themselves. And so they don't have the level of self-esteem that it takes to challenge something somebody says. They don't have the level of confidence to speak with boldness and declare something before their friends. Why? Because we always struggle with these things, and we've always used word manipulation to stroke somebody's ego to get what we want. We've always said one thing in somebody's face, and then as soon as they left, we was talking about them behind their back in a total different tone. This is what our children are seeing. And so they're growing up with this low self-esteem and no confidence in themselves because we've placed so much of our emphasis and focus on the response that we get as opposed to what we are to say. So I'm just saying, man, y'all can keep on focusing on, well, I ain't gonna say y'all like as if I don't do it either, man. I hate when people do that, so I'm gonna catch myself when I do that. It's us. We all do it. So look, I'm just trying to be a better person, man, and I'm just, what information comes forth that I see is beneficial, man, I'm gonna shoot it out to everybody. That's what I do. You chew up the meat, spit out the bones. That's what my daddy used to always say. Chew up the meat, spit out the bones. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. If it is, then rock with it. But let's stop not doing what Yahweh has called us to do and say because we're concerned about what other people think. You say you got lied on and you have a right to defend yourself. When we get lied on, see, that's when people lie on me. I think about all of the times that I lied on me. I've said so many things over the years being a womanizer that were not me. I've mischaracterized myself so many different times in order to get what I wanted. And so if anybody's lied on me, I've lied on me more than anybody else has lied on me. And so when people lie on me, and anybody that is willing to believe that lie before coming to me and getting both sides to make a good informed decision on the situation, then I don't care about that lie. I don't care about who believes it or anything like that. That does not concern me at all, especially if it's a lie. People will climb a tree to tell a lie than to just stand flat-footed on the ground and tell the truth, because it's easier. And in knowing that, when people tell their lies, I be like, oh, really? That's what they said? So are you not willing to bring that person here with you right now so that they can repeat that same thing in front of me? 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do that. 9 times out of 10, that's not going to be able to happen. You know why? Because it's a lie. And if they were to face you, their eyes would show that they're lying. Their actions and their body would show that they're lying. Their behavior, all of those things would show that they're lying. But like I said, anybody who considers themselves a friend of mine or an acquaintance of mine that would believe a lie about me or believe anything that is said in passing about me without asking me, I don't really consider them a person in my life of significance anyway. And that's just how I deal with people who lie on me. But some people, they get lied on and it'll break them down because they're so concerned about what other people think. They're so concerned that other people are going to believe that lie, and it's going to tarnish their image or their reputation, that they will surrender to the possibility of that lie being seen as truth. That's where blackmail comes from. Oh, well, I got this right here and I can show this to the people and it's going to ruin your reputation. It's going to do this and that. It could possibly ruin relationships and stuff. And you're going to give in and cave into that because of the potential to destroy or make discomfort in your life. I'm not going to bend to that will. That is a spirit. And, this is spiritual warfare that we out here fighting. And so if you allow that the first time, then you're going to allow it the second, the third, and the 100th time. So yeah, people can lie on us. People can make fabrication, whatever fueled them or motivated them to tell that lie. That's theirs to deal with all by themselves. They're not going to get a response or a reaction out of me, nothing. So that lie that they told is for them to deal with, and people who decide to believe that lie along with them. I'm cool with that. It ain't going to affect my life one way or the other. Now, there's some people out here in the world who their reputation is their business. It's their livelihood. And so they can be more easily controlled by the threat of destroying their reputation. And so I don't even know what to say to those people, man. That's a personal issue that you're going to have to overcome yourself. If you created revenue based on your reputation and your behavior and how you're seen in society, then you're just a slave to that. And if your income and your livelihood is more important than your morality and things of that nature, then you just gonna have to walk in that. That's what you chose. That's what you want. And so you're going to have to take the good and the bad that comes with those things that you want. There's going to be some sacrifices that you're going to have to make in order to get what you want. So if you're putting yourself in that position, then it is what it is. But I'm never going to put myself in that position. I'm never going to allow monetary gains or anything like that to be a factor in what I have to say and what I have to do and the message that I have to bring forth to the people. That's why I'll never monetize my page. If I need something, I'll ask for a Cash App every now and then, maybe. But I try not to even do that, because I don't want to be like a lot of these people who get on here and they get monetized and they start seeing them numbers. And we go back to putting your confidence in those numbers. So you say it louder for the people in the back. And we always get caught up in these numbers, and now they got something to hang over our head to control our speech and to control our narrative. So that's why I vowed to all of my subscribers a couple months back that I'll never monetize my thing, my podcast, no matter how many numbers I get, no matter how many subscribers or none of that stuff. And I've been tested in that spot a couple times. There's been a couple offers just come my way and stuff, but it's not for me because they want me to give up the heart and soul and essence of what I'm doing. And that's seeking truth, regardless of how people feel, and being unapologetic about it. They want me to give that up. They want me to be their mouthpiece and their narrative. I mean, they're basically just their mouthpiece to speak their narrative. They want to control my narrative, but I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. So if I only have 200 subscribers, that's 200. 200 is a big number. May not be in the scope of the rest of the YouTube streets in the YouTube world, but for me, that's a big number. That's 200 different outlets that this message can go. That's 200 different opportunities that this message can be spread out amongst other people. That's how I see that. 200 is a big number. Right now, I have 194 subscribers. That's 194 different opportunities for somebody to hear my message and what's being said. That's where I see that. So I don't look at it like YouTube. I don't look at it like a lot of people, and I don't care about all of those numbers. They do not make me or break me at all. The message is always going to be the focus. The message is always going to be the most important thing, top priority. So if you're looking for the bells and the whistles and all of those things like that, there's a lot of other content providers that can provide that for you. I'll do my TikToks and I'll have some stuff to be lighthearted so we can laugh and joke, because laughter is medicine. But for the most part, I'm never going to allow anything to overshadow the message. And that's just D-Mac, man. I'll be here, still sticking it out, still rocking, still knocking, but I'm always going to try to bring something that's going to be beneficial to you. I'm about to get off here right now because I'm gearing up for another show that I'm going to do at 10:15. That'll be 11:15 on the East Coast this morning. And I'm going to dig further and deeper into the show I did the other day about the militarized police force, because I had one of my brothers, he was in the military as well. And he didn't get an opportunity to come in and add on to what I was speaking on that day. And so I'm going to do the show again and bring him in so he can bring his perspective from his experience in the military and what he saw as far as how the military is being, the police force back here in the United States is getting all of the military stuff that we used to get. And they're being militarized. It's already a done deal. It's not like they're going through the process of doing it. Our police force has been militarized for a long time. We just haven't been paying attention. but you don't have no other choice but to notice a big MRAP coming down the street taking up 2 lanes. So some things they just can't hide anymore, but we still don't talk about it. And so I'm going to go into it deeper with my buddy at that'll be 10:15 Central Time. That'll be 11:15 a.m. on Eastern Eastern Time. And so I appreciate you, Cynthia, for coming in this morning. I appreciate your feedback and your comments and stuff. And we're just at a place to where we have to take responsibility for what we always claim we believe in. If we standing on something and we're believing on something, then we can't allow society's acceptance of those things to change our view and to make us go against what we have always known to be truth in our lives. Yeah, can you be wrong? Yeah, we can be wrong. But I should have the right to exercise my belief. Period. Everybody. You have the right to exercise anything you want to. Yahweh gave us free will. He said we could do whatever we want. Just be willing to accept what comes with it. That's all I'm saying. And I appreciate you, Cynthia. Yeah, check it out. We're gonna get into some deep stuff about the military and the police. But this is your boy D-Mac, man. I hope y'all got something out of this. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.